Dear students, I am Satnam Singh and welcome once again on my YouTube channel Economics by Satnam Sir. Dear student, in this video we are going to discuss the two important topic of Indian economy. First is land reforms and second is green revolution. But before we start this video, I will recommend to all of you to please subscribe my YouTube channel Economics by Satnam Sir for very more upcoming video tutorials. So let's get start. The main topic is land reforms. Dear students, in the previous chapter, we have learned that there was neither growth nor equity in the agriculture sector during the colonial rule. At the time of independence, the land tenure system was characterized by intermediaries who merely collect rent from the actual tiller of the soil. The low productivity of the agriculture sector forced India to import food grain from the United States of America. The agriculture sector accounted for the largest share of workforce and approximately 70 to 75%. So, agricultural development was focused right from the first 5-year plan. The measures undertaken to promote the growth in the agriculture sector can be broadly categorized as land reforms and green revolution. What is the meaning of land reforms? Land reforms means to change in the ownership of land holding. Land reforms have been introduced by various underdeveloped and developing countries for attaining a rational and distribution pattern and viable farming structure. There was a great need for the land reforms in a country like India, where majority of its population still depends upon agriculture. And the basic aim to land reforms is land reforms were needed to achieve the objective of equity in agriculture sector, a redistribution of land so the landless poor farmers could get a piece of land of their own, and safeguard the interest of the tenants and preventing fragmentation and subdivision of landholding. The government introduced the land reforms, which are studied under the three heads. First is abolition of intermediaries, second, tenancy reform, and third, reorganizational reforms. Under abolition of intermediaries, government introduced the major reforms in India. The government took various steps to abolish intermediaries and to make dealers the owner of the land. Zamindari system was abolished and ownership rights were given to the people who cultivated on the land. This was done with a view to save tillers of the land from exploitation. And second reforms is tenancy. Under tenancy reforms, government regulate the rent. Means maximum rate of rent have been fixed in different state that can be charged by the landlord from tenants, and it varied from one-sixth of the crop produce to one-third of the crop produce. The second is security of the tenure. A tenant cannot be evacuated from his land as long as he does not default on the payment of rent. And third is ownership right for the tenant. If the tenant has been working on a piece of land for some minimum number of years, and if the landlord want to sell the land, the tenant will have the first right to purchase. And third reforms is reorganizational reforms. Under these reforms, first reforms is land ceiling. What is the meaning of land ceiling? Land ceiling means fixing the specified limit of the land which could be owned by an individual. Beyond the specified limit, all the land belonging to a particular person would be taken over by the government and will be allotted to the landless, cultivated, and small farmers. The purpose of land ceiling was to reduce the concentration of land ownership in few hands. A land ceiling helped to promote equity in the agriculture sector. And second, major reforms under reorganization reforms is consolidation of landholding. Government allotted a lot of funds to consolidate the landholding. Consolidation of landholdings means law was enacted to prevent fragmentation and subdivision of landholding. And third is cooperative farming. Cooperative farming means farmers pool their land. Individual farmer keep ownership right on their piece of land. They cultivate the pool land as one and share profit. Government of India introduced a lot of infrastructure reforms in the country. First is setting up a financial institutions. Second, setting up a marketing agencies. And third is a setting up public distribution system. Setting up a financial institution means cooperative credit societies have been set up to provide credit to the farmers at low rate of interest. Also, rural development banks have been established to cope with the need of the farmer. And the second is governments start the regulated market. Regulated market have been established across all part of the country. This is with the view of offering fair price to the farmers and protect them against exploitation by the middleman. These markets are governed by the market committees appointed by the government. A representative of the farmer are also a member of these committees. These committees ensure timely payment to the farmer and also ensure that only specified weight and measures are used to weight and value in the farmer's produce. Cooperative market society also a good step of the government in the favor of the Indian agriculture and setting of the public distribution system. All these reforms is known as infrastructural reforms of the government. But the land reforms are not properly used in India because land reforms were only the successful in Kerala and West Bengal because government of these states were committed to the policy of land reforms. Unfortunately, other states did not have the same level of commitment and vast inequalities of landholding continue. And the goal of equity was not fully served by the abolition of intermediaries because of the following reason. First is the some area. In some areas, the former Jamindar continued to own large area of land by making use of some loopholes in the legislation. And second, in some cases, tenants were evacuated and zamindars claimed to be self cultivators. And third, even after getting the ownership of land, the poorest of the agriculture laborer did not benefit from the land holding. Other is malified transfers, inadequate proof of the tenant. This is the main causes of the slow progress of land reforms in India. Now we discuss about the few MCQ questions on this topic, land reforms. The land reforms were more successful in which state? Kerala and West Bengal is the answer. Second, which of the following is not a part of the land reforms? Green Revolution is not a part of the land reforms. And third, legally stipulated maximum size beyond which no individual farmer can hold any land is known as land ceiling. Land reforms refers to the all of these. And Green Revolution. Dear students, at the time of independence, about 75% of the country's population was dependent upon agriculture. India's agriculture vital depend upon monsoon, and in case of shortage of monsoon, the farmer had to face a lot of troubles. Moreover, the productivity in the agriculture sector was very low due to the shortage of due to the use of outdated technology and absence of required infrastructure. As a result of the intensive and continued effort of the many agricultural scientists, the stagnation in agriculture was permanently broken by the Green Revolution. The Green Revolution refers to the large increase in the production of food grains due to the use of high yielding variety of seeds. High yielding variety of seeds is the most important reason of agricultural revolution in the India. Agriculture revolution occurred primarily due to the miracles of new wonder seeds known as HYP seeds, which raised agriculture yield per area of incredible height. These seeds can be used in those places where there are adequate facilities for drainage and water supply. And as compared to other ordinary seed, these seeds need a heavy dose of chemical fertilizers to get a large possible production. So, to derive the benefit of high yielding variety of seeds, Indian farmer need to have reliable irrigation facilities and financial resources to purchase fertilizers and pesticides from the market. In India, dear students, Indian economy experienced the success of Green Revolution in two phases. In first phase, mid 60s to mid 70s, the use of HYV seeds was restricted to more affluent states like Punjab, Andhra Pradesh, and Tamil Nadu. Further, the use of high-yielding variety of seeds primarily benefited the wheat-growing regions only. And in second phase, mid 70s to mid 80s, the HYV technology spread to the large number of states and benefited more variety of crops. Now we will discuss here the benefit of the green revolutions. Green revolution increased the productivity and production in the Indian agriculture, and we help to achieve the self-sufficiency in food grain production. Self-sufficiency means कि increase in the crop production has been so substantial that India has started maintaining buffer stock of food grains. These stocks are used during the period of lean farming supplies. A revolutionary rise in output has helped India achieve its principal goals of five-year plan, that is growth with self-sufficiency. And next objective, next benefit is increase in marketable surplus. Green revolution resulted in marketable surplus. Marketable surplus refers to that part of agriculture produce which is sold in the market by the farmer after meeting their own consumption requirement. Growth in agriculture output makes a difference to the economy only when large proportion of this increase is sold in the market. Fortunately, a good proportion of rice and wheat produced during this the green revolution period was sold by the farmer in the market. And last point is for in the prices. A large proportion of food grains was sold by the farmer in the market. Their prices decline relatively to the other item of consumption. The low income groups who spend a large portion of their income on food benefited from this decline in relatively price. And there are some drawback of the green revolution. First is benefited only by the rich farmers. And dear students, there was a risk that costly inputs required under green revolution will increase the disparities between small and big farmers, since only the big farmer could afford the required input. And second, prone to risk, the high yielding variety of seeds crops were more prone to attack by pest, so there was a risk that small farmers who adopt this technology could lose everything in the pest attack. However, this risk was considerably reduced by the services rendered by a research institute established by the government of India. And the green revolution is restricted to only few crops. A lot of, however, due to the favorable step taken by the government, these fears did not come true. The government provided loans at low rate of interest to small farmers so that they could also have access to the needed input. Since all small farmer could obtain the required input, the output on small farms equaled the output on large farm in the course of time. As a result, the green revolution benefited the small as well as rich farmers. Dear students, thank you very much for watching this video tutorials. In my next video tutorial, I will discuss about the three important topic. First, debate on subsidies, benefited and limitations. Second topic is industrial revolutions, industry development between 1950 to 1990. And third point is promotion of trade between 1950 to 1990. Thank you very much once again for watching my video tutorials.